Hey there, friends. This is Miss Compton coming to you after the first couple days of school. I know I didn't get to film earlier in the week because this has just been a whirlwind. And if you're a fellow teacher, you know that we are just tired after those first couple days. So I feel like we're at the weekend. I can kind of kick back. I've got my planning started, but I thought I would go around and show you some things that I set up in the room after this first week of school, and I'm so excited. We're gonna do a book tasting activity next week for students to pick their books they're gonna be reading in my room. And so I've got that set up behind me on their tables. So I'm gonna go around and just kind of explain that a little bit. And I hope if you are a teacher out there that you have an amazing first week, whenever it is. Ours was this week. I am looking forward to starting again next week. So let's go around and see everything. All right, so I want to start by pointing out this book tasting activity. I love this because one of the things I require in my room is for kids to read first. They come in and read the first 10 minutes of class. They fill out a standards-based reading log, and I like to have them pick their books and have student choice. So on Monday, I've got stations set up around the room. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stations. And I have an amazing librarian here at our school, and I told her what I was doing, and she pulled books for me from all of these categories for the kids to sample. So they're going to have a worksheet at these tables where they are going to pick up the books, pick a few. They have a few moments to kind of put a book back if they don't think they like it. And they're going to look at the titles. They're going to write down, some basic observations about the book, and then they will open and read a small passage from it and a sampling, and they'll fill out their worksheet kind of based on what they read in the genre. And at the end of the activity, if kids really like any one of these books to keep as their read first book, that I will go ahead and put a bookmark in it and check it out to that student and keep it in class. So this is just a really fun way to introduce your kids to reading. And then she has divided them all up by genre. So it's another great way to teach genres and how to identify those. So this table is realistic fiction. Let's walk over here in my room. This whole table is adventure. And, any librarians out there, she's got these awesome tags on the back of them, these stickers that label each type of book. So even when they go to our school library, they're gonna know kind of what to look for. So over here, we've got a whole table here of like romance. That's this category. A lot of my girls, middle school girls, like that. I've also got mystery here. I've got fantasy over here. Okay, lots of cool books here for fantasy. And then over here, these are scary. Okay, so these are just really fun. I'll kind of zoom back so you can see. I'm also going to bring in a few snacks on Monday because it's a tasting. I'm going to give kids like 2 Skittles or 3 pretzel sticks or like 4 marshmallows while they're tasting the books to taste some fun snacks and just have fun with it. But they're going to be in groups doing that. I also wanted to show you guys, I hadn't talked about this too much in my other videos, but I got this giant dry erase calendar from Amazon. Sorry, the glare from my room lights is on it, but I have used this concept for years of an absence workstation. If a kid's absent, I write on the calendar what we did that day. I've actually got Monday's work for the book tasting on there. This is what we did on the first 2 days of school. And then down below, I always just keep a crate with folders, file folders 1 through 31 that correspond to the days of the month. And so if a kid misses that day, like if they miss the 8th, they know to come and check the folder number 8. And then I go ahead and write their names on the handouts they missed and put them in the folders, and they can know to check there and look for what they see, okay? Over here, we made good use of the last 2 days, this student supply station. This is where I'm going to assign them their workbooks. I will probably have them keeping their read first books here as well in some form. I haven't figured that out yet, but this is also where they pick up handouts. I have that labeled, and I tell them they come here for everything. I wanted to point out that I am already prepping for our first unit. We're going to be reading A Long Walk to Water. So I've got up some posters. We're going to be doing kind of a gallery walk around the room where kids are gonna have these I wonder, I think charts where they are gonna fill in, you know, just some information that they see and observe from these things. So we've got Sudan, which is the location of our book, our novel. Then over here, I've got a map of Africa. So they're gonna fill in some things. And then actually on Monday, I'm gonna bring in here and put up as well just a few extra just informational sheets about what kind of food they eat in the Sudan, what the Dinka tribe is that the book talks about. So that's gonna go here for an activity next week where the kids are gonna go around and gather that basic comprehension knowledge before reading the novel of just, building context for kids. Here is my teacher workstation. I have finally gotten it cleared off. It was a little bit messy today after the first 2 days. I am taking home my student rosters off my clipboard to update because, as you all know, they change day in and day out on these first couple days. I need to update my board for Monday, but these were just a basic how I fill out my board as we go through the day. And so there it is. That's kind of where we're at. As we jump into our novel units next week, I'll be adding vocabulary words to our words to know wall. And then again, I'm using these extra bulletin boards to pop up things for our novels as they appear. And then our reading corner is back there. I saved that corner. I have a special chair back there. So I assigned weekly helpers in my class, and I just go through my roster and pick 2 kids per week. If they are a student helper during the Read First time, they're allowed to sit back here. This is that special seating, and then they get treats on Fridays for being my helper. So that's how I use that space so that kids don't fight over it. So there you have it, friends. I know it's been a little bit since I was able to post my last video. As I am creating new materials and content, I will keep updating you. Oh, that reminds me, I do want to show you guys. Follow me this way through my classroom. Okay, so here is a color version of it. This right here, I made a poster, is my syllabus. Okay, so I created this in Canva because how many times, even as parents, do we get these long, a subject content syllabus that's a lot of text to read? I just figured I would do parents a favor, and Canva is like my best friend right now in creating some of these infographic type things. This is a free option on Canva. I just filled in my name with it. I put our units that we're doing this year. I've got, kind of come closer, sorry, the camera's wonky. I've got a long walk to water, our epidemic unit, our Harlem Renaissance, plastic in the world's oceans. I've got our grading scale. I've got information about our Read First. I've got like my contact info at the bottom and some of our class expectations. But really, I mean, that's all students really need. They don't need a whole bunch of information dumped on them at the beginning, but I liked this compressed version of the syllabus. And then I made that over here in my absence folders. I'll pull one out. So of course I printed it black and white because it's too expensive to print color, but the kids get one to take home. And then on the back of it, this was our first day activity. I have an all about me sheet that I also made in Canva for them to fill out and give me information about themselves so I can learn a little bit more about my students. I filled one out about me and my family, so I've got some fun facts on there. I like to model things before kids do it. And then on the very back, I just created this in a Google Doc, but it's a parent guardian survey where I ask parents a few questions like, what are your child's strengths? How do they learn best? Is there anything your child struggles with at school? Anything else I should know about your child? And then they sign that they've seen my syllabus. So this is what I sent home first day. This is what we went over. This is how we did class time. I gave kids time to fill in that about me poster. And then today, also created in Canva. I'll show you this. Oops. Okay, sorry. We went in and filled in this infographic that I created specific to my class about how to be successful in English class. So it was just fill in the blank, and they walked through, we kind of walked through the stations in my room. How do you come into the student supply station? Where do you go if you're absent? What will Read First look like? What are our rules in our classroom? And then on the back, I had a guided journal entry they did when they came in. So if you're wondering kind of how I start the school year, this is how we start. We start with those procedures and those, background stuff. And then now we're starting to jump into content next week. I'm getting really excited. So I will share more of that material and ideas with you guys as we get there. Okay, that's a boring background there. That's our door into the door. I need to kind of put some fun quotes on it. But yeah, this is my classroom. Here's where we're at, first week of school. I've met my students. They are amazing. I'm so excited to have this year with them. I think it's going to be a wonderful year. So again, check back in with me. I'll see you guys again soon on Life in Lilacs.